We've used an array to store data like a single column spreadsheet with many rows. We've also used an array to store data like a single row spreadsheet with many columns. As you can probably guess, we're going to combine these approaches to store a whole spreadsheet worth of data about our product catalog. We can do this by using a multi-dimensional array, or arrays within arrays. I know it sounds complicated, but it's pretty straightforward, and don't worry, it will not cause the space-time continuum to collapse. Let's go back to our code for creating a list of countries. At the top here we have a simple array with two elements, each representing one country. I've commented out the code we wrote after that. We'll include some of that a little later on. The value in this first element here is a simple string, but there's no reason we couldn't assign it an array as a value instead. We could also make the second element in the countries array another array. Let's output all the information we have available about this array. As you can see, we have an array with two elements, element 0 and element 1. Each element represents a country. The first country is also an array with two elements, a code and a name. The second country is another array with the same two elements. Our countries array is now 2 levels deep. You can access array in the first level by using square brackets just like before. This element is an array with its own elements. You can access the values in the second level by using another set of square brackets at the end and specifying the key. This code will first look in the countries array for an element with a key of 0. Then it will look inside that array for the element with a key of code. That element is a string with the text of US. Let's get the piece of code we wrote earlier to create an array for the United States with 5 elements and use it here. Let's also add more data about Germany. Next, let's display a list of countries in our array along with all this information. We'll use a for each loop, just like we did with the simple array. We'll loop through each element in the countries array, loading each element into a working variable named country. I prefer to name my arrays with a plural form, like countries, and then use the singular form, like country, as the name of this working variable. For each country, we'll display the information we have in our array. Let's use the same HTML we wrote earlier to show this information. This code will go inside the for each loop so that it gets executed once per country. Let's save this file and take a look at it in the browser, and we can see all the information displayed for all the countries in our array. To recap, our code creates an indexed array for countries. Each element in that array contains an associative array with information about that country. We then loop through all the countries, displaying the information we have about each of them. Well, that was quite a trick. Congratulations! We've now covered what we need to know about arrays to get our t-shirt store catalog working. Let's dive back into our project code and add some multidimensionality to that product array.